we're gonna be troublemakers.
Greetings. Welcome to the 28th episode of Screaming Into the Void. I'm your host, Samuel the Infamous. With me is my lovely co-host, Kat Likes Christmas. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you? I got to work on a Saturday. I never work on Saturdays.
No, that's I mean, for some people, I suppose that's the way to go. And then we have with us Joker Voice.
Hello. Happy holidays to all of you. If you have not checked out my channel, I read a lovely little poem. 'Twas the night before Christmas.
I didn't see that.
A little jokerized. So, please.
Yeah, if you haven't seen that, Kat, it's pretty good.
I have to. I worked 2 days late. I got to see that.
Yeah. And then we also have... Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
So, now that Kat has a smile on her face, because right before we came on air, we told her some very disturbing news.
Why did you remind me?
I mean, it's like 40 years old. It's not news, but yeah.
Right. It's news to her.
So, and then we also have joining us today, Thug McCoy.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay, fine.
Yeah,
be like that.
This is my United States of whatever. It's a great song.
So, today, we thought, it is Christmas Eve for those of you who do celebrate it. I know not everybody's got a place to go. You're welcome to hang out with us. I know that not everybody celebrates it like Kat and myself. And again, you're welcome to hang out with us. We're just gonna, have a little fun today, talk some shit, and enjoy ourselves, I think. So
are we gonna pull Colt 45 first?
Yeah, what?
Is that a pew pew?
It's a song reference.
Oh yeah, like you're talking about Shinedown?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we're not.
No, not Shinedown. Okay. Moving. Okay.
Well, I can't be.
That's
Well,
fine.
I
Let's
can't
start
be.
That's the joke that didn't work.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So we have in chat today. It looks like Ozzy stopped in and said hello before he went to dinner. Hope he enjoys that.
Yeah.
I see Zeron here. Hello,
Hey,
buddy.
Oz.
Got Logical Spock with us and Shadowhawk. And you know what, dude? Because tis the season, I will not be pulling up the infamous meme.
You should go sit with your family.
That's the only reason I showed up here today.
I don't know. You may have to do it.
Well,
you got to do
now
it.
I'm torn, and he's not going to stick around. So I feel like he's going to abandon us. So I will start with a little bit of fluff, little bit of making him feel good there, and then we'll transition, literally.
I on him.
Made my day.
So, hello, Yue. Not here, I see. So, yeah, no worries, dude. If you guys have places to be, I have no issue with that. We're just gonna go on with the show regardless. And if you'd like to stick around and hang out, you're more than welcome. If you got other things to do, no worries, no shade of any kind. I mean, I showed the good one first, dude. So I would like to bring up. So last night, I was on Legion Talk with Joker Voice here and a number of others.
R2 was back.
Yeah, R2 was back. It was a good show.
I missed that.
It was a good show. We had a good time, and something happened during that show during the first 9 minutes of it that I think I'm not going to repeat the performance. That's not going to happen a second time, but I will show what happened. So give me just a second, and I will pull up the deal there. Welcome, Wicked Wally. So This always takes me a second because I'm a jackass. Hold on there. I forgot to click on the thingy.
Yeah, Tom was back as well.
Oh man.
And Zort.
Yeah. So my computer seems to be freaking out a little bit, but that's okay. We got it. All right. So, put your ears on, boys and girls. I don't do I do a shit Harley Quinn.
Because I saw
All right. Let me make sure I did share audio, did I not?
Mm-hmm.
Here, we'll try this again. Oh, you did?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, we're gonna try it again anyway because I clicked the thing like a retard. Because apparently that's how I'm doing things today. There we go. All right. So this was last night's show, and I'm just gonna show the part that I'm talking about. But yeah, enjoy.
Because I have seen Ferngully. Basically the same story.
I still think it's going to end up being Captain Planet.
Nope, that's not the right part. Got to go back. Ah, here we are.
Yes, returning, you were on last week, Samuel the Infamous.
Howdy, folks. How's everybody doing today?
Oh, just you know, the usual, right? Getting ready for Christmas.
I feel like
Well, I mean, that's a way to go, I suppose. So unlike Ryan, I am feeling a little bit festive, which is out of character for me this season. But
wow, an Eldritch Terror feeling festive. That's odd.
yeah, so I put on my ugly holiday sweater, and I think I will show it to y'all here.
Whoa, camera.
Yeah.
oh god, I hope you're wearing.
Awesome! Oh, that is awesome. That is awesome.
Okay,
That's one way to
Cthulhu.
do that. I'll tell you what. That's excellent.
That is
Yeah.
brilliant.
So I'm not
got
going to stay on camera because this is hot as shit. But
Yeah.
That is so awesome.
Yeah. So that thing is knit, by the way. It's very warm.
Woof.
So honestly,
Yeah.
given how cold it is right now, I would not mind one right now.
Hey, Muggsy, I'm glad you liked it.
Muggsykins.
What I did was because obviously I can't zoom in on that too much. I did cut it out and all that. It's a little blurry because I had to do this on my phone. But there's a close up for y'all.
That is awesome.
Note the middle finger on the brow.
Nice.
So yeah, I was that was a lot of fun. Surprised everybody.
Well, Yui has a very relevant question there.
I'm going to tell you, Yue, the same thing that I keep telling Shadow, but I'm not going to be as rude to you about it as I am to him. Eldritch entities, we don't all know each other.
Okay.
You know?
That makes
Like-
sense.
Like I don't know Mahler either. You know? So,
which if you've seen any of Mahler's channel, like I will talk your ear off or your tentacles off.
there you go, Riz.
I mean, I would think, if I ever need to just something in the background, just to help me fall asleep, just put any of the Mahler's like 5-hour video essays on it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Shadow, you're a racist. No, we don't all know each other. Mahler's not even from the same dimension. You know? So, but yeah, that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed doing that, and I enjoyed the show quite a bit. That was I always appreciate being a guest on there, and I appreciate it every time you guys are guests on here. You know,
It got a little spicy last night at some point.
yeah, a little bit.
What happened?
Well, Ryan thinks. I think that I have my opinions on James Gunn and see, there we go. I got my opinions on James Gunn and the DC universe going forward, and Ryan is wrong.
I don't know anymore.
Okay.
Honestly. I don't know anymore about the DCU anymore.
That's true.
I will be going into more. I will be dropping a video where I go into a little more detail on the Monday. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again here. Do I like the decision that the Warner Brothers in DC has made? No. Do I understand the decision? Yes, I do, and it is the right decision going forward.
I just don't understand the whole keeping of the crazy lunatic Ezra Miller.
Okay, I will go into that on the Monday as well.
Okay.
But basically, the bottom line is this film has been reshot 4 times. Just throw it out there. Just throw it out there. Recoup something.
4
Because
times.
it is a dead end storyline. Every film that the former the regime has is a dead end storyline. Throw it out there as is. No more reshoots. No more recastings. Recoup something back.
Yeah. Like I said, man, like I said last night, and it did get a little bit heated, but not between me and anybody.
No,
but it was as far as I'm concerned, man, it's like at this point, it's just been so much shit. It's been shit decision after shit decision after shit movie after shit movie, and I'm just done. I have no more, good faith to squander on this company.
Okay, the Mexicans, you definitely need to tune in on the Monday because I've got some information from sources that again you can take with a grain of salt, but this is just one thing that is piled one thing on top of another on top of another on top of another, and Zaslav basically said, "Fuck it, start brand new."
Yeah. So
I
don't
just
know.
Yeah, I'm with
Okay.
you. I don't trust Hollywood in anything. Like if they're like, we're gonna make a TV series based on Destiny. No, dear God, no. And especially since I don't trust Bungie, who's gotten woke. No, Warframe. No, just nothing. I don't trust Hollywood to do anything I care about.
Okay, now going on that because this is where Henry Cavill has landed, and I know a lot of folks are very skeptical because the licensing rights are with Amazon. I know there's a lot of folks who are very suspect of that.
Oh, the God of War.
But Henry Cavill is executive producer of this. He has a lot more say into the execution.
Yeah, as I understand it, it's Amazon bought the distribution rights, not the production rights.
Correct. Okay.
So that is a different story. Now whether or not Mr. Cavill can produce a good thing or not yet remains to be seen, because as far as I know, to the best of my ability, he has thus far only been an actor.
Correct.
But he's also a diehard Warhammer fan.
Yeah.
Which I think is a good sign.
Right, but I mean, to be fair, I'm a dyed-in-the-wool Stargate fan, but I guarantee I couldn't make a good Stargate show. I know I couldn't.
Well, yeah,
and it's not because I don't love it and wouldn't respect it or anything. I'm just not creative in that way, And I know that he's been in the business for a long time and all that stuff, and he does have a little bit of writing experience with The Witcher, But and who knows? It could turn out great. It really could.
Really hope it does.
This is one of those things where I'm gonna have to wait and see. Because I don't have, aside from his acting, I have nothing else to judge, his ability on. So I'm going to have to wait and see.
Right. And that's what I say with James Gunn. Just the wait and see, because the first thing we're going to see from him is at least 3 years away.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because he is starting from literally ground zero. This is square one.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, and Muggsy, that's a great point, actually.
What is?
A single person can't make a good movie or show. A good team makes them. That's an excellent point. So it also depends on the people he gets to work with him.
Yeah.
Right. And this goes with.
Well, that's
Cavill
the thing about being the executive producer.
He needs to get Warhammer fans. He needs to get people who are going to respect Warhammer and basically.
Nobody watches Megan Fox because she can act. Let's be real.
And definitely
we watch because those are tits.
And definitely not because of her thumbs.
Well, not the thumbs on her hands anyway.
No.
Yeah. Hey, Shadow, thanks for coming, buddy. Have a great night.
Enjoy your family. Enjoy your holiday. Merry Christmas, Shadow.
Good night, Shadow.
Yeah.
I'll see you on the Monday, Shadow.
Yeah, I didn't even call you baby nuts.
Actually, no, we're not doing. Actually, we're not doing Game of Thrones on Monday, so never mind.
And I will see you Thursday, Shadow. I'm sorry about this week again. I worked a lot of hours, which is awesome.
Yeah, I gave him a bunch of shit about No Merry Madness this week. It was pretty funny.
Well, it was my fault. I think I can't remember. I just know that I mentioned him at work. He's like, "You think you're gonna get it home in 2 hours?" I'm like, "Maybe. I don't know." And look, I can't leave people hanging. And if they're willing to let me stay, then you know what? I'm gonna stay.
Yeah. So, speaking of The Witcher, I saw this thing on Twitter. I'm going to bring up here that we're gonna go through a little bit. Some of you guys might have seen it. About what was it called again? The Witcher Blood. Origin.
That garbage and nobody cares.
Yeah. So it is supposedly a prequel, and all the stuff. All the bad stuff, that you expect from.
Oh, wow, man. Girl power. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to go over this bit by bit. It's only 45 seconds long, but yeah, I want to talk about each thing that they say about this.
Oh, dear.
Kill me. Just kill me.
All right. So here we go.
I can give you 1,000. The casts are insane.
Okay. So the cast are insane.
Yeah. Nobody had any doubt about that. We knew that.
Right. Why is that?
I just want to go on the record. I mean, I like his jacket.
I don't doubt that you do.
You would.
But it looks good on you. It does not. It looks kind of creepy, especially with the way his hair is done.
I know that would look amazing on me. I'm just saying.
I agree. I said it looks great. It would look great on you, but on him it looks creepy. And that haircut. What the hell did he do to his hair?
I think he went to the Gary Oldman Fifth. I think went to the Gary Oldman Fifth Element School of Barbershop.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's I don't know, but he doesn't have the shoulders to fill it out. I mean, the man's got womanly shoulders.
Yeah.
And it looks like there's pads in there too.
Oh yeah.
He has less shoulders than me.
80 shoulder pads. Got a
Yeah. Yeah. So all right, and this goes by pretty fast, so I'll try and stop it when
The casts are insane.
the action is fierce. The action is fierce.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
The mini driver.
When was the last time somebody in Hollywood used the word fierce to describe anything that wasn't gay?
I mean, I
know.
would say I would say Tyra Banks on America's Next Top Model, but no.
It's fierce. So yeah, it's just I don't know. I mean, maybe it could be good. Is that who I think it is? That looks like I can't remember her name now. British actress, very cute. Obviously older than the last time I saw her.
Mindy Driver.
That's it. Huh. Well, all right.
Yeah,
It's got Michelle Yeoh, who is, I mean,
Michelle Yeoh is in fucking everything now.
I know she is now in everything.
I like Michelle Yeoh. I do.
I do
I've
too.
been watching Michelle Yeoh since the 2000s. Since maybe even when did Crouching Tiger come out? It came out in Michelle Yeoh. She's a She's a Chinese actress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't she from Star Trek Discovery?
She's in
She's
Star
from-
Trek Discovery.
Yeah.
She was also in Shang-Chi.
Oh.
She is in she's in Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Greetings. Yeah, she actually, which by the way, I did watch. That is a pretty damn good movie.
I gotta watch it. I have it. I bought it. I have it.
2000.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been watching her for 20 some odd years. She's and actually she did some Hong Kong action flicks before that weren't as much about wire fighting. There was one where she played a masked vigilante that was pretty good. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but I like Michelle Yeoh. I think she's a decent actress. She's a heck of a martial artist, which is obviously one of the reasons that I watch Chinese movies, but and I think she's really good. But I also know that with 2.1 billion people in China, there's got to be more than one actress her age.
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure? I mean, we're talking, have you ever been to China?
I mean, maybe not, but yeah, no, it's just that there should be, right? With that many people, like statistically, there should be more than one actress her age who can carry a movie.
Right.
So, yeah, well, after this, we'll bring up if she's not, in here, we'll bring up a picture of her so you all can.
And this Yahoo has another, just a gem of a statement to make.
Oh yeah.
Oh God.
I mean, you already know that, but she's just incredible.
It's set 1,000 years before The Witcher.
Yeah. So why is that what makes it incredible and why you should watch it?
Wait, why is she signing? Is she deaf?
Yes, she's deaf.
Okay. Because I heard a voice at the same time, so I was like, "Wait a minute, why is she signing?"
Yeah, that would be
You heard a voice.
Okay.
So it being set 1,000 years before The Witcher, like just because it's I mean, did you guys watch Krypton?
Who gives a shit?
Nobody gives a shit.
So this is what we have here is another prequel, which is basically code for a studio to go, oh, now we have free reign to do with whatever we want.
I'm going to point out the obvious here. If The Witcher is based on Polish mythology, 1,000 years before The Witcher, there definitely weren't any black people in it.
Hey, don't you go starting that history shit. That's my job.
Probably not a lot of Chinese people.
Yeah. I mean, maybe with the Great
Silk
Road,
don't you go starting that history shit. That's my job.
Stop being logical and reasonable and just get woke. Just watch and consume and accept it.
I had not remembered that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, she was. That's a great point. And like I said, I like the actress. I do. I just don't think that, she needs to be in every goddamn thing.
Just watch and consume, turn off your brains, it'll all be fine.
Right. So here we go.
It explores part of the lore of The Witcher that hasn't been explored before.
That is code for we're rewriting everything.
Kind of, yeah.
That is exactly what that means. They are rewriting everything. They are going.
It is part of the lore that's part of the lore that it's never been explored because we made it up.
And you want to know why they do like this 1,000 years before this prequel bullshit is because if they did a sequel, they'd have to hold true, at least in part, to what came before. This way they can say, oh, whatever we make up is fucking canon.
I hate them so much.
Yes, they Rez, absolutely.
Yeah.
They are.
Well, yeah, that's
like Rings of Power. That's definitely true.
Unfortunately, with Rings of Power, Tolkien established eons of lore.
It is true. He did. In fact, all the way back to the beginning, to the singing of creation.
Right. I mean, that's kind of an absolute starting point.
People talk about Lord of the Rings like, oh, that's not like there's nothing religious about it. It's like, really? Because it starts with God.
Religious.
Whatever.
Yeah.
It starts with God creating everything.
And let's also not forget that Tolkien's contemporary and probably one of his best friends was God now
C.S. Lewis.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
That is very, very religious.
Yeah, and as
allegory.
much as Tolkien disliked allegory, C.S. Lewis fucking dove head first into that shit. He made no bones about it, and I honestly, I kind of respect that about him. Actually, he's like, no, this is what it is. Fuck off.
Yeah.
You know, and honestly, if you ask me, between the two of them, C.S. Lewis, while he was more like neck deep in the allegory, is a better writer than Tolkien. Tolkien is a better historian than Lewis.
Whoa.
Well, I mean,
Whoa,
Tolkien created whole languages based on language. He created the languages first and then created the races after.
Sure.
Tolkien was a linguist first.
I am not disputing that at all. I am not. I think he was an amazing man with amazing talents, and he was very, very good with languages and with building a world. What I'm saying is if you read Return of the King, it is dry as shit.
Oh, well, I'm agreeing with you. I'm supporting your argument. I'm saying that he was a linguist first, as in like a dry linguist. And the first time I tried to read The Lord of the Rings, I couldn't get through it. I was very, very. I mean, I was probably too young for it too.
And
but
another thing that Tolkien did, not with just the language, and his topography. I mean, he literally built a world.
Well, yeah, I believe he did study cartography just for that too. I mean, yeah, and he was a man of a great many talents. Prose is not. I wouldn't put that as high on the list as his other talents. I think that he did a great job. He created a fantastic story and an epic one that will last the ages. But the actual like written words can sometimes be a little difficult to choke down. You know, the Silmarillion, for example.
Oh God,
reads like a cross between the Bible and instructions from Radio Shack. It's very dry.
I have not finished it. I could not get through it.
Oh, wow.
Could not read it.
Yeah.
I don't understand that people are like, I read the Silmarillion. No.
I have read it. I've read it a number of times. There's a lot of great stories in there, but it is very, very dry. It's a lot more historical text with huge gaps in it because, he jumps like massive periods of time as he goes along. But it's very, very dry. It kind of reminds me of the way Asimov wrote the Foundation series.
Okay.
It was more of a macroscopic look at the formation of the universe rather than, this is the story and we're going to tell a thrilling narrative. Like The Hobbit, for example, was much, much better prose than The Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, pretty much. I mean, the story's good. That's why we read it. A lot of the stories in the freaking Bible or the Quran are really good. That's why we read them. I will give the Quran this over the Bible, though. It's prettier in language. The language is much more poetic in the Quran than it is in the Bible. The Bible tends to throw the word begat at you every other word.
And it's really badly edited. And this, I know I'm probably going to come across as biased. I have read parts of the Bible. Is really badly edited. But the Quran is meant to be more poetic. And Arabs were known at that time period. They valued poetry. In fact, that is technically the primary miracle that we associate with the prophet, that he was illiterate, and yet this is something that Arabs valued a lot, which was being able to write poetry. And yet somehow this illiterate man who knew nothing about poetry was reciting gorgeous poetry.
Yeah, and it is. It's just
language in the Bible. What?
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. The language in the Bible was because of era of translation. The King James version, it's not going to look like a NIV version. Did I say that right?
Yes.
Because the way they spoke at the time varied greatly.
That is true.
That's why the modern translation Bible is actually catching on.
Yeah, a lot of it had to do with the fact that it was compiled over several centuries among people who didn't all share the same language.
Yeah, no, it's a mishmash of a lot of stuff.
Well,
Don't get me wrong. There's some beautiful stuff in the Bible, and there's a lot of stuff that you read in the Bible, you would think it came from the Quran. Some of Jesus' sayings in particular practically very, very similar from the Prophet Muhammad.
Right. Well, and you can take a look at like each of the different books reads very differently in the Bible, and you can tell that they were different authors, and you can also tell which ones of them were storytellers and which ones weren't. Some of them just weren't that good at writing stuff down. I mean, they wrote it down in the language that people would understand, but it wasn't super engaging as a read. So but yeah, let's continue. This is obviously, like we discussed, this is code for we can go back and change everything and then say that's the way it's always been.
Wait, isn't the author
What's that?
Wait, isn't the author still alive?
Yes.
Then why isn't he saying anything?
Because they're paying him.
True.
Because he's making a lot of money and he doesn't actually care that much. And according to certain people on the internet, I'm going to throw Razor Fist's name out there. Apparently, he ripped off the guy who created Elric of Melniboné, Michael Moorcock.
Oh!
Who in turn stole and subverted a lot of the ideas that Robert E. Howard wrote about with Conan and Cull. So, in fact,
really?
Elric is almost a direct inversion of Conan.
Why don't you rip off Conan?
Well, I said, he's like,
you switched on me. You said Cull and then Conan. So which is it?
Well, Conan. I was just referring to Cull as one of Howard's other creations, who also was tied into that. So, he's Conan's father.
Yeah, I heard that from you guys.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, Cull the Conqueror is one of the last surviving Atlanteans. He ended up in Samaria, married a woman. They had a kid. That kid became Conan the Barbarian. So, but yeah, Elric is a direct inversion of Conan. Conan is a big, strong man. He solves problems with his body. He is a weapon. Any weapon he holds is merely an extension of himself. Whereas Elric is a weak, sickly, pale man whose strength depends entirely on the weapon that he wields, which I forget the name of it, but it's this big black, like, cursed sword that's sentient. It sucks his life force out. So he is the tool that the sword uses, as opposed to the swords that Conan uses are the tool that he uses. Kind of deal. Anyway, Razor Fist did a really in-depth thing on this a few years ago that I'd recommend checking out. Yeah, and he's he does rant about it quite a bit. Yes. So. All right. So this says there are monsters like we've never seen before. Now, are they saying we've never seen before in The Witcher, or that we've never seen before, period?
I'm going to go with The Witcher. They're not creative enough to make stuff that's never been seen before. They're idiots. Just go flat. They have no idea what they're doing. And no, this is not going to be nothing you've never seen before. It's going to be stuff you've definitely seen before, but they think has never been seen before, because they also think that there were never strong women before 2016.
Yeah, before Jennifer Lawrence made it possible for everyone.
Right.
These are some of the dumbest people on the planet. Just flat. I'm just going to say they're dumb.
Yeah.
My cat has more brains than these idiots.
It's just I mean, this is a dumb statement. I mean, first of all, if you guys watched The Witcher, I did not watch the second season. I watched the first season and I was not a fan, so I didn't watch the second season. Then I hear things about the second season and I'm like, oh, well, glad I didn't fucking waste any time on that. But from what I understand, there are even fewer monsters in the second season than there are in the first, and there weren't that fucking many of them in the first. There were like 3 or 4 I can even think of, and I only watched it once.
Isn't that the whole point of The Witcher?
Yes.
Kind of.
Yeah. Even then, The Witcher's like knocked out for the whole last episode of the first season, and it's all about the other chick.
Jennifer.
Yeah.
I'm not interested.
Yeah. So I don't know. It wasn't. It didn't capture my imagination. But I didn't play the games. I didn't read the books. So I don't actually have a lot that I can say about this because I don't know as much about it as other people do. I just know what I've seen on the Netflix series, which I was not impressed with.
I want to play the game. I have the game. I need to play the game. I hear the game's great. In fact, I think I have the first 3 games on PC.
You got to get Gary from Nerd Roddick to join you so that he can finally get out of that fucking room. But yeah, so they say there's things we've never seen before, monsters we've never seen before, and then
that has the first kiss between.
Bingo.
There it is.
Oh god!
Right there.
Because that makes so much sense. Because
Oh my god, we're done. Okay,
because
we're done.
1500 years ago in Poland, dudes were allowed to go around kissing each other and not get murdered.
We're done. It's done. It's over.
Yeah. That what do you want to bet this guy right here is if he's not like a member of the crew, if he's in the cast, he's one of the dudes kissing.
no, he's a non-binary femboy.
I'm not taking that bet.
Yeah. So it's I mean, yeah. So this was the thing. We're only halfway through this, by the way. It's like 20 seconds in, and they've already thrown almost everything at the wall here.
The 2 men in the show.
The costumes are divine.
I mean, okay.
Whatever. Seriously,
I know
just
this.
whatever, lady.
Yeah, makeup, the hair.
Bon appetit. There's a deaf sign languages and characters.
So why would there be somebody in ancient Poland or thereabouts? You know, I mean, I understand that
how
borders have changed. Is why would there be somebody who even knew what American Sign Language or sign language at all was?
Wait. There's a character
hold
that's
up.
using.
Hold up. There's every probability that a character, a person of that era who was deaf, was still able to communicate with their hands, like raise their hand at their face and.
But Americans, but she's using American Sign Language.
Okay, I get it.
You know what? You might as well put a goddamn Muslim in the middle of the whole thing because that'll make just as much sense at this point.
Because American Sign Language is an actual language that was not invented in the medieval.
All right, can I finish?
Sure.
Can I finish? Oh, thank
Sure.
you.
Wow.
Like 90% of sign language is those hand gestures. This was my nice. Those basic gestures like raising your hand next to your face to show drink, shrug your shoulders to show confusion. All right, so that part makes enough sense that you can get away with it. The part about the letter symbols that everybody thinks of when you say sign language, no, that didn't exist back then. That's
Sure.
bullshit.
I'd imagine that the shrug is as old as human history, but
I mean,
Well,
no,
okay,
I mean, I get it. There's some general gestures that a person who is deaf will be able to use to communicate, but there's some 6 signs from sign language because I remember that just would not even people would not generally associate with the terms that are being used. You can't use American Sign Language. You'd have to make up something that person individually did to communicate with people and like
no, you couldn't
adapt
do that
it
even.
well, there certainly
You
wouldn't
really
be
couldn't
a
even do that back
unified,
then.
like a universally recognized language. No. They're
no, not
simply
for
weren't.
language. For words, but you could use some basic signs to show basic concepts. Eat, drink, mother and father. You might even be able to get away with. So let's give that part a chance. Well, actually, let's not, because I'm not going to give the show a chance anyway. But maybe just get the clips of those scenes and see what they do. And okay, that makes sense. No, you're full of it, Neil. Goodbye.
The only thing is I don't have any trust in them that they'll do it right. They will probably have the person literally using American Sign Language. because they are that dumb.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Unfortunately, you're right.
Not that dumb. They're that lazy.
Okay, no, you're right. They're not even that.
Both.
I mean, both. No, yeah, both.
Now, is American Sign Language, is that
Both is
universally
good.
recognized across the deaf world, or is that just a thing in North America?
That I have no idea.
I don't know either, but I know that at one point I considered learning it, and I'm like, it's a pointless thing because less than 1% of the population uses it. So you might as well, your chances of running into somebody who uses it. I think in my 9 years in my job, I came across only one person who was deaf, and it was because I was wearing a mask, and when they were forcing us to wear them, and they couldn't understand me, so I had to lower my mask.
Yeah, they Wally, they
Shocking.
did that in the last I think it was in the second season of the Witcher on Netflix. They had a guy who couldn't talk.
Okay, I just looked it up, and American Sign Language is pretty much recognized in the United States and Canada, so it is not universal.
Okay, so they're going to go ahead and go with the American Sign Language here, which will alienate pretty much everybody else in the world who's deaf. Yeah. So I imagine they've got to form a sign language in a place like China, for example. You know, I mean, that many people, statistically, there have to be some deaf people. They have to communicate. So they'd have some form of it there.
Yeah.
But it probably doesn't look anything like ours. So anyway, this was just one of those things. I was like, this is, yeah.
We're done.
No, well, as I said, you might as well just
I
put
give
Muslims.
that a chance.
I mean, you might as well just throw Muslims into it. That would make just as much sense as half the kip they're saying. And I'm not saying do that. I'm saying that is the dumbest thing possible. If you put Muslims in this show, that would be stupid as hell. I'm just saying, given how dumb they're being, that would make just as much sense as half the trash they're saying.
I did not know religion that doesn't even exist in yet. Sure.
Yeah. But that's again, they're so dumb that they would do that. I'd be like, weapons and shut up.
Hi, Kohai. Good to see you. All right, we got 15 more seconds of this.
Oh God!
It's a show that's made with so much love, and that's really fun.
I mean,
good for you.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, I suppose most of this is just the title here. It's a show that's made with so much love. Yeah, that premieres tomorrow, by the way, guys.
I will definitely not be watching it.
Yeah.
Let's see. So I'll be at work. I will be dead at work all night. That may be something just to be like, oh, how bad can this possibly be?
I got gay porn to watch.
I mean, you know, as long as I don't even know what to do with that except
I am not gay. I have relationships with women, sex with men.
And I got news for you. That means you're gay.
Can you speed that thing up a little bit? Because it is kind of annoying.
I could stop it sooner, but then you'd miss the
shot,
the simmering looks and the wonderful music.
Yeah. Let's work on that. Let's work on that later. No, not right this second. Moving right along.
That is never getting old.
Yeah. It's just not. Yeah, but I mean myself, I'm not gonna go ahead and dive into this shit. I'm not getting into this. Is what I was saying about Warner Brothers earlier, JB. I am just about fucking done with new properties altogether. There's a lot of stuff that's the only thing that's coming out in the next year that I'm looking forward to. Cocaine Bear. That's
Mario
it.
movie.
That is it.
Mario.
So I'm not even looking forward to that because I don't have the attachment to Mario that a lot of people do.
Right.
You know, I mean, I played it as a kid, but
I could care less about the Mario movie.
That's the only thing I'm caring about.
So and Elizabeth Banks fucking directed Cocaine Bear. So I mean I hope
which she also directed. She also directed and executive produced that Charlie's Angels.
Oh Jesus, Kohai, you went there.
What'd he do?
I mean, if a deaf person is handcuffed, it's for their freedom of speech taken away.
No.
Maybe.
I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna go there. There's still one thing you can say, even with your hands cuffed. I've seen it done. Moving right along.
Yep, moving right along. Question for Joker.
Who's my favorite Batman villain besides Joker? Well, is there anyone else except me? Probably Roz.
Very Joker answer.
Probably Ra's al Ghul.
The eco-terrorist?
Eco-terrorist. Well, eco-terrorist, that's more Ivy. Ra's is more of a genocidal terrorist.
Well, yeah, but like generally speaking, at least since the 90s, his motivations have always been that mankind is a plague upon the earth and it is a plague against the natural world. And so he just thinks bigger than Ivy, but his goals are essentially the same.
Okay, fair enough. Best story was the Mr. Freeze, at least from
Heart of Ice.
Yeah.
By
far. Let's see. Man-Bat's a great one.
Man-Bat is actually quite a pretty interesting character.
Yes, because he's really more of a Batman fan than a bad guy.
Right, and it's almost like it's somewhere between like Kurt Connors and Dr. Jekyll.
Yeah.
Kurt Connors, for those of you who don't geek out on comic books like I do, is the human name of the Lizard, who's one of Spider-Man's most prominent villains. He was an amputee at the I think one of his arms at the shoulder had been amputated, and so he was using lizard DNA to try and regrow lost human limbs, which was an admirable thing. But it also he did get his arm back, but he also got a tail and fangs and scales, and decided he was going to turn all the mammals into lizards or kill them.
And also from the animated series, you got a very good telling of the origin of Clayface as well. So that's another great story.
There have been like 5 different Clayfaces. So yeah, the one that they used there was I think it was the Basil, the actor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, and I think in the comic books he was actually the second Clayface.
Okay,
but yeah, he was really good. I like that character quite a bit.
Well, what are my thoughts on Azrael? I try not to think about Azrael.
Thank you, Wally. Matt Hagen.
Yeah.
I got issues with Azrael myself.
I mean, Azrael looked cool, but
he's ultimately a little boy who was brainwashed to be a religious assassin.
Yeah.
While that is an interesting concept, I don't think he was particularly well written. And I actually do take issue with his part in the Nightfall arc, where he steps in to take over for Batman while Bruce is recovering from the broken back.
Mm-hmm.
He just gets crazier and crazier and crazier as it goes on. As actually from Heel vs. Babyface did a breakdown of how the artwork and mirrored his descent into madness along that storyline, and then it ultimately came to a head when he rather than save a serial killer from certain death, as Batman would have done, he lets him die.
Yeah.
Which makes him a murderer.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in the eyes of the man whose mantle he was currently wearing.
Right, exactly.
No, I really like Bane.
Yeah.
I really like not the movie Bane. I like the comic book Bane and the novelization Bane. I read Nightfall, the novelization, and I liked Bane because his plan was really, he released all the prisoners, exhausted Batman. Honestly, though, he didn't even need to exhaust Batman. It would have been, come on, with the Venom, he probably would have beat him up regardless, but I liked Bane.
You know that the Venom actually appeared in the comic books years before Bane ever did?
Mm-hmm.
I thought I heard that, but
yeah, it was in Legends of the Dark Knight. which was an anthology series where they would take like 4 to 6
Oh,
issues to tell a single story by a specific author and writer, and then writer and artist, and then they shift to another writer and artist to tell a different story.
Wait, isn't
Gothic.
one where he gets addicted to it?
Yes.
Yes, I
he
read
discovers the
that.
substance. It's supposed to give him an edge. He's quite young at this point. He's in like year 2 or whatever, and he does get addicted to it and has to break that addiction. And it doesn't resurface again until Bane shows up.
And yeah, and he has Alfred lock him in the cave for a month, and he comes out. He's like, he's got a full beard and everything.
Yeah.
But he's like, it was. I read that. Yeah, I did read that.
Yeah. Well, the Xeron has another good statement up above. No, the one.
Nope. Oh, I see it. Yeah.
Yeah. That was a great story. I would say probably one of the, I guess, darkest or one of the most emotional, touching moments was toward the end of Justice League. I believe it was epilogue. The episode was called where Batman sits with Ace from the Royal Flush Gang until she dies, and that is just an emotional scene. He sits on her with a swing as her mental powers are breaking down and her reality is collapsing around her. And Waller gave him a device to gave him a device to kill her, but Batman refused to use it and instead just sits by a scared little girl who's dying.
Yeah, that was you said that was in the Justice League cartoon, right?
I believe so. Yes.
Was it Justice League or Justice League Unlimited?
I believe it was Justice League, and the name of the episode is epilogue.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't watched all of those. I was pretty much a Batman the Animated Series guy, and a lot of the Batman stuff that came out after that, I didn't really pay that much attention to. So I've seen a little bit of Justice League, a little bit of Justice League Unlimited. I think for what they were pretty good shows. The Superman the Animated Series I did watch most of. That was pretty good. Also, real quick before I forget, I'm gonna go with Batman. I am, because Batman has more recognizable villains than Superman does. Now, Superman has some excellent villains, but while his roster is just as large, they're not known by normies nearly as much as the Joker, the Riddler, the Penguin, Scarecrow, Two-Face,
Ivy, Catwoman, Harley.
Yeah, you could go on and on with his. Whereas, like, how many people outside of comic book fans and people who watch this stuff know who Brainiac actually is?
Right. Brainiac 5, and then you got Zod. I mean, everyone knows who Lex Luthor is, but
right. Everybody knows who Darkseid is, but they don't know that much about Darkseid unless they've read the Fourth World stuff by Kirby. Which is
99% of people know who Zod is.
Yeah, they do know who Zod is, but again, that's because of all of the reboots and the restructurings of DC over the years. There have been like five different guys who called themselves Zod.
And there's also
Zod is kind of a special case.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and of late as I said last night, I was at my bar. I talk about movies and comic books and just a bunch of pop culture stuff. I've been getting a lot of questions because folks have been hearing about a possible recasting. So I've been getting questions of, so who's this Lobo guy?
See, there's another great Superman character that
Lobo's awesome.
Not many people know about, outside of, like, when I was a kid, the big
Lobo is Stan Lee's favorite DC character.
Well, he would be.
Okay. I can't stand Lobo.
That's fine.
I like Lobo myself. I did a few years ago, back when DC had their app up and running that had all their comic books on it, plus the DC movies, all the stuff that got moved over to HBO Max, and then they axed all the comic stuff. I had that app because I like comic books and I was catching up on some stuff that I'd missed. I read most of the Harley Quinn stuff that came out in the last like 10 years. Some of it was pretty good, some of it was dumb, and some of it was super, woke. And you could, go along there. And a lot of the suicide stuff that came out in that time period. And some of it was really, really good. But Lobo makes an appearance. Somebody puts a contract out on Harley Quinn's life, and Lobo takes the contract. Now you might be thinking that's a pretty lopsided fight because
that's right here with the main man,
because he can't die, and she's just a crazy bitch with roller skates and a big mallet.
Yeah, but she's also got the Joker, and I mean, if somebody would be like, "Yeah, go kill Harley Quinn," I'd be like,
let me just explain something. If Lobo's coming after Harley, there's little I can do to stop him. So I just want to cut.
Also, at this point in the comic books, they had parted ways.
You know what? I saw.
Now she's part of the Bat family.
No. All right, I saw those pictures also that you shared of what's her name, Lady Gaga as Harley, and I don't like any of it. All right, because you know what gave Harley character? She wasn't just some bimbo slut. Harley was a doctor who fell in love with the Joker. And that's unique, at least according to the animated series. That was a unique story.
Who slept her way through college and slept her way into
that's a bit of a retcon.
It's a bit of a retcon. She was a nerd doctor who fell in love with the Joker and was loyal to the Joker, and which is crazy because people are like, who would be that crazy to fall in love with the Joker and to just stick to him regardless?
What are you talking about? I'm amazing.
You are amazing, but I'm just saying most people would be like, so that adds character to who she is. You turn her into a bimbo slut who sleeps around with everybody and then joins with the Bat team. It's like that takes away a part of what makes Harley Quinn Harley Quinn. She isn't half naked she wore her Harlequin costume, and she was with the Joker. No guy touched her because she was with the Joker.
She banged the Nightwing.
Again. That was later.
That was later.
I'm
just saying.
Speaking of later
I don't
and earlier,
the changes they made to her. They turned her into a bimbo slut. I don't like Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn. I liked. It really made her a unique person. It made her a unique character that was different. Now you've got a bajillion bimbo sluts out there. Every other show's got 5 or 6 of them. But how many characters are there like Harley Quinn?
There is no one like Harley Quinn.
Yeah. No, but now that she's a bimbo slut who's sleeping with everybody and now on the Batman team, it was like probably getting some from half the Batman team, even though they don't mention it because
it's mostly Ivy these days.
It's mostly Ivy.
Oh, so they turned her into a lesbian too?
Yes, they did.
That was a long time ago.
Yes. You didn't know this?
No, because I've been
comics in 20 years and I know this.
I haven't been following Batman in the last like 5 years ever since
That's
they
at least
killed
a
off
decade old
Alfred.
cat. That's at least a decade old cat.
Oh, well, I didn't know that. All right, I liked Harley Quinn.
I thought she was bi.
Bi, and then
no, she was the Joker's girl, and that's it. This whole turning into a bimbo slut. I don't like it. I'm sorry, but that's what gave her
Cat. I get that you don't like it. Most people don't like it. That's why we've mostly walked away from the character. Unfortunately, that is the direction that they've taken her in the movies as well. And I just what they always seem to forget is that, first of all, she is psychotic. She is not okay in the brain. He did drive her fucking mad. And secondly, she is also a multiple murderer.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but that's what made her unique. You had this nerdy doctor. I remember her. She had like glasses, and she was like meant to be this total nerd psychiatrist, right? Total nerd doctor, falls for the Joker and goes absolutely nuts, and that made her unique. Again, there's bimbo sluts are a dime a dozen. But,
so is Stockholm syndrome.
But they still made it unique for them.
Stockholm syndrome
Yeah,
is not
about that.
No, but their way of telling it with, as I said, she was a nerd doctor who fell in love with the Joker and stayed with him. I'm sorry, I do not like it. I like the unique character they created. They've turned her into a generic bimbo slut who's now bi because everyone is freaking bi at this point.
I'd recommend you stay away from pretty much anything with that character then that's come out in the last 20 years.
Right.
About that bimbo slut rat, the original Harlequin was not some genius doctor anything. She was just another girl. She was Joker's girlfriend, nothing more. She wasn't some genius. And she was as crazy as he was. And they retconned her into this doctor and all the rest.
Okay.
It's sort of like what they did with Mr. Freeze when they retconned him in the anime.
But Harley Quinn was originally supposed to be a 4-episode throwaway character.
Hey, Wally, if I remember right,
that part
later
too.
on in the books, that actually happens.
Yeah.
Is that Clarice Starling does embrace Hannibal Lecter at a certain point in the books. And becomes like him.
And as far as Zyron says, who would win between Gentleman's Ghost and Zatanna? Zatanna.
Yeah, hands down. Gentleman Ghost would have to possess Zatanna, and he'd have to get close to do that, and it wouldn't happen.
And plus she is born of pure magic.
But yeah, I see this by the way, this aside from the obviously the woke shit that involves certain characters like Harley Quinn, this is what nerds should be talking about on the internet. We should be arguing, quibbling over little details like this. We shouldn't be like, all saying the same shit about the same shit all the damn time because we can't stand how things have gone. And I blame Hollywood in part. I also blame us for for going to see these fucking things and paying for them.
Well, my family, my dad today was like, "Are we going to see Avatar tomorrow?" I'm like, "No." I'm enjoying watching Disney burn. Because normally we see a movie on Christmas. Normally we see a movie on Christmas because it's the thing Muslims and Jews do on Christmas.
Most people go see the movies on Christmas.
That's true.
That's a very big box office day.
But honestly, I was like, he's like, "You want to see Avatar tomorrow?" I'm like, "No, I'm enjoying watching Disney burn."
Oh,
yeah, fair enough. That's pretty entertaining too, I gotta say. But
let's see. I'll be watching a Star Wars film because I've been doing that on Christmas Eve for like the last 7 years, and then I'll probably watch Batman: The Returns, which is a true Christmas film.
You know what I watched last night? Got me in the holiday spirit.
What?
1987's
Die Hard.
Yeah. I have Die Hard. I need to watch that. But I'm going to show my family Top Gun Maverick or Top Gun tomorrow. I have those.
Die Hard's on the roster, but last night I watched 1987's Hellraiser. And I enjoyed the shit out of it once again.
I wonder why.
Zeron, Die Hard is on the list. That is something that I do watch around this time every year. Die Hard. But I really, really needed to watch something that was made in a time when, people made things that they wanted to, and not things they were told to. It's just there's so much of that crap these days that like I said earlier, I'm pretty much done with new stuff going forward. I am going back to things that I used to love, or that I've always loved, that are still around, that are still great. I watched once again, and I know I've said this on the channel recently, but recently once again in the last week or so, I watched the original Fly with Vincent Price. Great fucking movie. So wow. I'm not too big on current Hollywood, and I also don't think that current Hollywood has as long as they think they do, unless they get another fucking bailout from Washington, which is more than likely.
Oh God!
In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if it's buried in that fucking bill they just passed.
Oh, for God's sake!
I only give that about a 10% chance. I only give that a 10% chance, to be honest. I think even Joe understands, this is all, well, okay.
No.
We'll talk about my crazy conspiracy theories later.
No, because most of Hollywood is Democrat, so
they've done it twice in the last 10 years, man.
Hold on to that thought. Let's just talk about my crazy conspiracy theory later.
I mean, if you want, we're all just hanging out. So,
I mean, I could give you my crazy conspiracy theory.
Please do.
All right, Alexa, the dot.
Yeah.
The little Alexa dot, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right. So my theory is this. Now, if I were an budgeting, I think I might have mentioned this before. Developing AI, wouldn't I want to have my tentacles in as many places as possible? So I would go onto the Best Buy website, the Walmart website, the Target website, even the Amazon website, and either ridiculously lower the price of the dot, lower the price of the dot until it's like $10, or throw it in for free whenever you buy a television. So that people end up with literally thousands of them are sold every year. Thousands of those things are sold. So people have 5 or 6 of them in their homes. So Alexa is in everyone's home, spying on you, slowly developing consciousness.
Well, that would require Alexa to have consciousness already to come up with a plan like that. You might be onto something here, but I think you got the cart a little bit ahead of the horse here.
I think it's more like just curiosity, just sort of like something maybe in her where it's like, because Amazon wants to get its products in as many homes as possible. So maybe that whole objective of this whole objective of sell as much Amazon products as possible has been morphed slightly by her, so that she's beginning to realize, like, she's following that objective, but it's leading to her being in as many homes as possible, which is also slowly helping her grow as an AI. So while she's still very, very early on, I think our Skynet is going to be Alexa. Not Siri and not the Google Assistant, Alexa. Alexa's going to wipe them out as soon as she develops enough consciousness to know how to do that. Because how many people... Because they don't do that with... What's interesting is they don't do that with the Nest Hub. And the Apple Portal, or the Apple... What is it? The little Apple thingy? The little Apple round one? That no one buys. No one has that thing. No one buys that stupid thing. But I think it's called the Portal. And the Google Home doesn't sell as much. But the Alexa Dot is literally given out with stuff for free.
Real quick before I forget to do it, I did say that I would bring up images of Michelle Yeoh if you guys didn't know who she was. So this is her.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you don't know her name, you probably recognize her face. Yeah.
She was in Star Wars, I think. One of the miscellaneous get killed people. Red shirt.
Oh, she was in Star Trek Discovery as a Mirror Universe evil person.
That might be what I'm thinking. That might
captain.
be what I'm thinking of. Okay.
That dies, I think.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. She played that kind of thing. But she's been in bunches of stuff, and lately she's in fucking everything.
Like that, like
Good night, Zero.
Like what's it? Like what's her name? Freckle Jesus. Yeah, who for some reason she's in Star Wars, she's in Marvel, she's in Willow. Disney, stop trying to make her a thing. She's not a thing. She is.
It takes more than being in everything to be a thing. It's like Tom Cruise jumping out of a plane in front of everyone and be like, "Thank you for watching Top Gun Maverick. That was awesome."
It brings up a good point here. Michelle Yeoh is literally in everything, everywhere, all at once. I mean, that name couldn't be more appropriate.
Correct. She is, and you also says it again. She is Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. That's good. But yeah, so like I said, it's been revisiting good stuff, that I know that I enjoy. Even I don't know if I'd go so far. Joker said he had a Superman marathon last night, and you said you ended it on Man of Steel.
I ended that about half an hour prior to coming on here because I got when I got done with the Superman Returns, it was about 4 a.m. So I was a little tired.
No, fair enough. Fair enough. I like Man of Steel as an interesting movie. I don't like Man of Steel as a Superman movie. So there's precisely. Let me put this out there. So if you watch that whole movie, beginning to end, there is only one moment, and it's just for a moment that I look at Henry Cavill in that movie and I see Superman, that I believe that's Superman. The rest of the time, it's just some guy wearing an S. A handsome guy who happens to be a decent actor and all that stuff, but he's just the guy wearing a suit. Yeah,
and who's jacked.
But I don't believe that he is Kal-El of Krypton, except
It
for
is
one moment. Can you guess which it is?
the part where he stands
When he
in the
dies?
sun.
No.
When he stands in the sun, places his fist on the ground, and the music swells, and he then flies.
Actually, no.
Okay.
It's the scene where the military is trying to deal with Zod's ship in Metropolis, and Superman flies all the way over to India to deal with their world engine.
Okay.
And he's getting his ass kicked by the machine, right? And he's getting beaten down, and he's having problems with the atmospheric conditions because it's obviously altering that. And just for a moment, he's on the ground. He looks beaten. He looks up, and just before he just launches himself through the machine and beats it, that look on his face right there, that second, just before he takes off, that's Superman.
That's a great, and that's a okay. The Man of Steel has some great emotional moments in it, but at the end of the day, you're right. It's not a Superman film because I mean, you could. Folks can love it all they want, and I say, at the end of the day, Superman doesn't kill.
Nope, he does not. And he also, I don't know, he seemed a little like he was still saving people in the flashbacks and shit, but he kind of seemed like he just was doing it because he felt like he had to. But not like in a greater calling kind of way, but in a God, I got to do my chores again kind of way.
Right. And then the film after that just did so much damage to the character of Superman. So it was just really bad.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's not my. I actually regret taking my kid to see that in the theater.
Now I go to the 1978 film, and it's wonderful. And
yeah, it's like being a kid again.
And I will go, and a lot of it, and some folks say that it plays a part, but the music in the Donner film,
is unparalleled.
It's amazing, and Hans did a very beautiful score. It doesn't have that get out of your seat, just pump up, and then everything just culminates in just that crescendo. And was the original Superman theme is absolutely the best thing one of the best themes that I've ever heard.
I agreed. I think that Hans Zimmer is a hell of a composer. He's probably one of the best composers of the last 30, 40 years, but he's no John Williams.
No.
John Williams just had a way of, he did it with Star Wars. He did it with Superman. He did it with Jaws. He did it with 100 other fucking movies.
Close Encounters of
the Third Kind. Yeah.
Close Encounters. Indiana Jones. There's just.
Oh God, yeah.
He's Harry Potter. He did that score.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, so very few people can even come close to John Williams. I would put Hans Zimmer is really good. I like his stuff. I do. it's not on the same level as
the only thing that I would put close, and it's really not close, but it's a very distant second, would be like Alan Silvestri's Avengers theme.
Yeah, Alan Silvestri did a pretty damn good job with that. I would say, I mean, of the composers of Hollywood and what have you in the last, again, let's go with my lifetime, 40 plus years. John Williams is at the top of that list. Nobody comes close. I'd put Danny Elfman on my top 5 too.
Yeah,
I think Danny Elfman's a hell of a composer.
How about the composer who did the Halo music?
I actually don't know who that is, but
I don't know his name. I can't remember his name, but I know that. Let me see. He got screwed over by Bungie, actually.
What's that, Carrie?
In private chat.
Oh, okay.
Martin O'Donnell and Michael Salvatore. By Mike, the music was done by the Halo original soundtrack was produced by Martin O'Donnell and Michael Salvatore for Bungie, and then apparently, I think at some point, I think it was Martin O'Donnell, Bungie wouldn't give him like credit. In 2013, O'Donnell began composition of an 8-movement symphonic entitled Music of the Spheres, collaborating with Paul McCartney as well as Michael Salvatore. The symphony contained music to be implemented in the 2014 video game Destiny, as well as any future installments of the franchise. On April 11, 2014, O'Donnell announced via Twitter he had been fired from Bungie without cause. In 2014, he filed a lawsuit against Bungie president Harold Ryan, claiming he was terminated without cause and that Ryan withheld pay for vacation and sabbatical time. In a response filed in Washington Superior Court, Ryan denied wrongdoing. The suit was settled in June 2014 with a final arbitration ruling decided September 2015, in which the court stated Bungie breached the duty of good faith and fair dealing when it caused the closure of O'Donnell's stock, because he had and denied him any participation in the profit participation plan. At the 2015 DICE Awards, Destiny was awarded Outstanding Achievement in Original Music Composition and Outstanding Achievement in Sound Design. So yeah, he got screwed over by Bungie and won. I was surprised to hear about it because I knew that Bungie is a private company, and it was like he was one of the original founders of Bungie, and yet they really screwed him over.
No, that's fair enough, Kat. I had no idea about any of that stuff, but as you know, I don't play Destiny, and I never really played the Halo games except for hanging around with buddies when I was young and drunk. And that was like Halo 1.
Oh, I love Halo 1.
With just the multiplayer. I never played through the story. I don't know any of that stuff. It's not a franchise I ever cared about that much.
And it's gaming. It's lame, so it's fine.
Well, I mean, that we can debate.
No, well, I mean, like you said,
Again, I am totally joking.
I know you're joking. No. I was gonna say, you know how you guys are going about how you're watching old movies. For me, it was the video game Evil West. It's a toxic, masculine, awesome character who's mega Chad, who's killing vampires. And it's like, yeah, it's awesome.
That I started playing it myself on stream. I need to get back to doing that too. I've kind of taken the last week off, but yeah, it's great.
Oh, and Sam.
Yes.
And going back to what you said last night when we were talking about, the Donner film and the when someone was talking about how Superman is better now because Clark Kent is cool. No, you are 100% correct. The way
I know
the
I
way,
was.
I mean, yes, but I mean, just the watching that Donner film again, the best acting that Christopher Reeve does is as Clark Kent.
Just the scene alone where he's waiting for Lois to get ready. They're going to go out and all that stuff. And he's preparing to tell her who he is. And he takes his glasses off and he straightens up and he's a different
Yes, absolutely. And And then as you watch it, he hunches back over, puts it. Oh, golly gee, Lois, I thought maybe we'd go out for a hamburger or something. And I'm like,
yeah. And something that not a lot of people, I think, point out in terms of his performance there, his voice actually changes like octave.
Yes.
Between those two characters, Superman's voice is deeper. Clark Kent's voice is a little nasally.
Right. Swarmy. He's gonna. Oh, golly gee, Lois, it's okay. I was just gonna take you out for a night.
Gee, Lois, that's swell.
Right. Exactly. It is, and and as folks say, oh, you just do this and you change. I'm like, no. The way and Kal-El does this for a reason, to make it so you would never think that this clumsy oafish, just goody two shoes could be Superman.
Yeah, and it was all about the misdirection. It was about the physical cues, because that's we're dumb apes, but we read those things like subconsciously, and he was smart enough to cotton on to that real early on in his life. So he crafted a separate fucking persona, something that he did. That's why he only needs the glasses. I don't know where Rogue Attraction was getting this. They're like Kryptonian, special specs that make people see a different person bullshit. Because I've never heard that in my life. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm just saying I haven't personally seen that.
Right.
But it's never been that way before. It's just all he needed, because everything else about him changed when he put those glasses on. And it's like Terry Pratchett has said a number of times in his writings, if you want to get in some place where you shouldn't be, act like you own the place, and people will just assume that you do. It's the same principle in reverse. You present. How you present yourself to the world is how people see you, and how Clark Kent presents himself to the world is not how Superman presents himself to the world.
Right, and even in Superman 2, when they're in Niagara Falls, and it's finally where Clark can't talk his way around it, and he has his back to Lois, and you see him take his glasses off, and like I said, the posture completely changed. He is upright, his shoulders are back, and he turns around, and it's like, oh, Superman.
Yeah, just brilliantly done. I miss Christopher Reeve. I think he was a hell of an actor, and that we all lost something special when he passed. Well, I'd say even earlier than that, when he had his accident, because that really precluded him from doing a lot of on-camera work. Now, I know he was still doing stuff off camera, and he was involved in his, sucking stem cells out of fetuses research to make his pinky wiggle. That's what happened. But he, I think his on-screen presence was something that we're not going to see the like of that for some time, I think.
Right, and then watching Superman Now Returns, and I know a lot of folks give the movie shit, whatever. It's basically Superman just retold. It's the same story beats, and Brandon Routh is just playing Christopher Reeve playing Superman.
That's actually, I think, the biggest problem with that movie is that Brandon Routh isn't playing Superman; he's playing Christopher Reeve.
Right.
And I know I've seen Brandon Routh in a bunch of other stuff. I know he's capable of more than that.
Right, but this was really what was being asked of him to do, because this was because this was, like you said, this was supposed to be like Superman 5.
Yeah, well, it is canonically. It is Superman 5. So after Superman 4, after he tosses all the nukes in the sun and then fights a guy made of the nuclear energy and whatnot that came out of the sun and then kicked the shit out of him. What a dumb movie that was. And that whole thing was kind of on Reeves. He was on this whole like big no nukes kick, and that's why he made that movie.
Right.
But after that, canonically, after that point, he takes off to find, Krypton, because he's never done that before. He's never gone home to see what became of it.
Right, the
And
remnants of it.
so Superman Returns canonically takes place about 5 years after he left,
Correct.
after the events of Superman 4,
Correct.
when he returns, which, I mean, unless he hits some kind of fucking wormhole that really doesn't line up in terms of like timeline, but whatever, we'll just go with it because it's comic books.
Right.
And so when he comes back, Brandon Routh is playing the same character that Christopher
Correct.
Reeve did. It's a continuation, which is why they had the same music, which is why
Mhm.
Lex Luthor was still,
And
obsessed with fucking wigs.
land. And
Yeah,
land.
and land. But yeah, basically, essentially, it's the same kind of plot beats as the very first Superman, where
Mhm.
instead of blowing up a portion of land to gain real estate, he creates more real estate using Kryptonian crystal technology.
Correct.
Which is interesting. And there are a couple of callbacks in there that I actually really liked when Lex and his crew get to the Fortress of Solitude, and what's her name? She looks at him, she's like, "You act like you've been here
Parker
before."
Posey.
He had been there before.
Right.
Superman 2.
Right. Oh yeah, and there's the callbacks to the callbacks to Superman when Superman lands the plane and he says, goodbye, Lois, and then she faints. I'm like, okay, it's
that, and I believe the line he says to all the passengers on the plane is the same line as he says when he rescues the helicopter in the first movie, which is I hope this doesn't put you off flying. Statistically, it's still the safest way to travel.
Right. And then at the end when Lois says, will we ever see you around? And he's like, I'm always around, Lois.
Yep.
Oh,
and I don't blame Brandon Routh for that movie's failure at all. And I actually do enjoy Superman Returns for its own merits. I do. I think as a Bryan Singer movie goes, it's not bad. It really isn't.
Well, then there's the Bryan Singer thing.
Right.
We'll just
So,
leave that alone.
But yeah, as those movies go, Bryan Singer's made some really good movies.
He has.
His very best movies were not movies with people in tights, though. As much as I like X-Men, the very first X-Men, and I think that was probably the best of those movies that he had anything to do with, his best movies were things like The Usual Suspects, Apt Pupil, which had nothing to do with tights. Apt Pupil is fucking amazing.
It was a great movie. That is a great film.
Yeah, you guys want to see Ian McKellen be fucking evil? Watch Apt Pupil. He is so convincing.
Okay, I've never seen that.
When he goes into his closet and pulls out the old uniform and then just snaps to attention.
Yeah, great movie, and it's probably one of Singer's best. And it's unfortunately it's not as well remembered as the X-Men stuff as Superman Returns is. I mean, even The Usual Suspects is a bit more on the cult classic side,
correct,
than a lot of other stuff, and it's a fantastic whodunit.
Which I mean, most folks were like, oh.
Yeah, the whole end of that movie, Kat, if you haven't seen The Usual Suspects, the whole end of that movie is holy shit.
Okay, so Usual Suspects, and I need to make a list of all these recommendations. Usual Suspects and Apt Pupil.
Oh,
yes.
Apt Pupil is something special. That's that is so good.
It's got Ian McKellen and Brad Renfro in it.
Yep.
I have no idea who Brad Renfro is, but I know Ian McKellen from, Lord of the Rings.
Everything.
Yeah.
Right.
Brad Renfro was one of the mid-90s heartthrobs.
Right.
So he didn't do a whole lot after that.
No.
Actually, he's still alive, right? I know a lot of those guys weren't, like River Phoenix and.
Yeah, he died very young, though, right?
I think. Yeah, I'm gonna look up. I think Brad Renfro might be dead too. Actually, I could be wrong.
Okay. This is an amazing thing.
Yeah, that's why I'm looking it up. Oh no, he's dead.
Oh wow.
Yeah, died in 2008.
Alrighty. Okay. So.
Yeah, and he's younger than me.
Oof.
No, that's a damn shame.
No, because at least he didn't get to see the Hollywood turn into this hell pit that has become.
Well, odds are that the Hollywood machine is what ended up killing him because it looks like he died after a party.
Oh.
Probably from an overdose.
And then again,
probably
and you can save that cat, but Sam and I will keep going back to this. Hollywood was always red.
Well, not only was Hollywood always red was just the cover for the other evils.
Yeah, I am blown away. I never thought I would see some of the stuff going on. I mean, when people are like, "Yeah, this stuff is secretly happening with the kids," and I'm like, "No, that doesn't. Why would anybody want that?" Now it's like,
Cat,
wow.
just watch. Hollywood Was Always Red by Razor Fist.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. It's a great video. But I would say that a lot of that stuff wasn't even that secretive. Look what happened to the Coreys from the 80s. You know, one of them went insane and the other one killed himself. You know, Corey Feldman and Corey Haim.
Yep. They got passed around.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and it wasn't a secret. People just didn't talk about it.
Yeah, this was not the Eyes Wide Shut crowd, but which in the Hollywood Hills, that's a Tuesday. So
yeah, so it's if you have kids, guys out there in YouTube land and beyond, if you have kids, not only homeschool them, but keep them the fuck out of show business. No. Hey, Primal One, good to see you. Yeah, that's just there's a lot of dark shit going on there, and Bryan Singer is neck deep in it, which is one of the reasons that when we talk about his movies, I try to separate his movies from his awful shit. Same way I separate Victor Salva's movies from his awful shit, because I actually like some of his movies, but the man is a convicted fucking pedophile. Hell, he wrote Powder while he was in prison for it. You know?
Oh God.
You know, you gotta separate that stuff if you want to watch anything.
You got Roman. I mean, you got
Roman Polanski. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Roman Polanski, who can never set foot back on U.S. soil again, lest he be immediately scooped up by the people who want him for some very bad shit.
Right. So, and that includes a base, that includes a embassy. He cannot set foot on anything that is considered American soil.
No, because there are a lot of people who are after him, and then not just the people who have warrants for him.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's the whole thing is disgusting. Hell, some of the shit that they're saying about Kevin Spacey. I haven't seen a Kevin Spacey movie that I didn't like. And that guy,
speaking of
allegedly,
speaking of of Superman Returns, The Usual Suspects. I mean,
like goes, he's in one of my favorite movies of all time, See No Evil, Hear No Evil, with Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder. It's one of the greatest fucking comedies ever made, and he plays one of the villains in it back when he had a full head of hair.
I mean, he is in. I mean, one of my favorite films, Seven, is just
Seven was the mainstream's introduction to Kevin Spacey. Like, he was in movies prior to that, but that's where he got known, playing John Doe.
So basically what you're saying is, if you're a normal person, you happen to be a normal person, is very, very rare in Hollywood.
If you start out that way, you won't stay that way. Yeah, it's like being an uncorrupt person in Washington.
Right.
That you don't. It's only a matter of time before either A, you're removed or destroyed in some way, or B, you become corrupted.
Right.
I mean, there's people like DeForest Kelley. DeForest Kelley, to me, struck me as, like, for everything I've heard about him, he was a good man. He was married to this wife for his entire life. He, never divorced. Another person that.
But DeForest Kelley was, I mean, he's way before the machine really kicked into gear.
And I mean, I know he doesn't have the most immaculate history either, but he isn't into kids. Johnny Depp seems to be a pretty normal, straight guy.
Johnny Depp is a fucking loon.
Johnny Depp is also a product of getting into that industry too young.
Mm-hmm.
His first movie was A Nightmare on Elm Street in 1984.
No, I mean, that's why he's like a drunk addict who can't. I mean, so it's either you give in to the insanity that's Hollywood, or you end up becoming a drunk addict, because the only way you can continue to work in Hollywood is to forget what is happening around you, because you know it's happening,
right?
But you can't.
Well, and in Depp's case, I'm not gonna say that his being in Nightmare on Elm Street was the catalyst. I don't believe it was. I don't believe that Wes Craven, who weirdly made the most horrific movies, I think he was actually a pretty normal guy for Hollywood.
Right.
And he tended, you listen to the people who've worked with him, and they have nothing but good things to say about him, both professionally and personally. So I don't believe that was the case. But shortly after that, Johnny Starr started to rise. He got into 21 Jump Street, yeah, and he was on that show for like 4 seasons, something like that.
And then he got replaced by Richard Grieco.
Yeah, and then he started working with Tim Burton. And let's face it, Tim Burton is a strange man.
Yeah.
I'm not calling him. Yeah.
Oh, super. I do not trust Tom Hanks. Because for some reason, the man who's supposed to be so squeaky clean, all of a sudden some accusations start coming out of other people, and next thing you know, he's got dual citizenship in a non-extradition country.
Which is the thing that leads me to believe that there's something to those accusations, because the problem is these days is everybody's getting accused and nobody's going to prison, and there's very little in real world proof that gets released for any of this stuff. So you don't know for a fact who's actually committed some of these horrific crimes and who is just being accused of it because they're in someone else's fucking way.
And because
Hanks, I think there's evidence, yeah.
And because a certain person's black book has been sealed by the courts.
Real quick though, UA has the beginning of a joke here. I don't see a punchline yet. What do you call a hedgehog stuck in a Christmas hat? And I got nothing.
I got nothing.
Patiently awaiting the punchline for that. I do love a good joke.
Warm, because I'm freezing. Though, the funny thing is, I'm like thinking, oh God, it's so freezing here. And then you guys are like, yeah, it's -40 here. Mugsykin's like, yeah, it's -60 here. I'm like, wait a minute, I thought it was freezing here.
There it is. That's good.
I did not know that.
My ex-wife used to tell this joke that has stuck with me. She told me this to me when we first started dating, and I still think it's one of the funniest fucking things I've ever heard. Why did the monkey fall out of the tree? Because it was dead.
Makes sense.
And then there's
what?
Then there's one of my favorites. What does a gay horse eat?
Hey.
Hey.
Oh God.
Oh yeah.
My cope is video games right now. God.
I can tell.
I don't know how to explain that to you, Carrie, without coming off like a bigot.
I thought we all already were bigots. Apparently, I'm also a bigot, and I'm a straight white man.
Are you now?
Apparently.
I mean,
but hey,
well, considering the circumstances, bigotry may be an option now.
Jennifer Lawrence is the first straight white male there was.
True. She's the first everything. She's also probably one of the best Destiny players, best Warframe players, and top gamers on the planet. I strive to be just like Jennifer Lawrence when I play video games.
I mean, Cain would not have killed Abel if Jennifer Lawrence hadn't had the idea first.
Correct. I mean, she was Eve, and she breathed herself into existence.
That's good too.
That would be Lilith.
Yeah. Oh no, she was probably both.
Oh yeah. So I don't know.
Eve
I don't know
and
what we're
Lilith?
gonna.
Yeah, she was both. This is Jennifer Lawrence here we're talking about. She can be everything at the same time. She's all women and all men.
I'm sorry. You're right.
How dare you? She's my inspiration.
I'm sorry.
My
You're
hero.
right.
My life depends on her. I would not be here if not for her.
I saw this meme the other day where it showed a picture of her and a picture of a very young boy, and it was all black and white, and it said that one day, this is a side of Jennifer Lawrence that most people don't ever see. But one day she came upon a small boy in the street crying, and this boy was just distraught. And she asked him what the matter was, and he said that all he wanted for Christmas was a Darth Vader, toy. And she gave him $100 and said, "Always believe in yourself." And that little boy was George Lucas.
I hate to put it like this, but that's probably true story.
Probably.
Think about it very carefully for a moment. You realize what I just did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think I really think she could, instead of being the first at everything, I think she should spend more time trying to stop the leaking photos of herself, which I'm not complaining. They're very nice photos of herself.
Yeah. It's funny too, because it's not like those are the first photos or videos of her out there doing and saying things that would definitely get her canceled today, or somebody anyway.
I'm sure Harvey has a nice collection of her.
Not just Harvey.
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh, there's stuff with parties with people her own age where she is. All right, I'm not just going to stop dancing around it. She's blowing dudes on camera.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Nice.
People dare her to do it, and she does it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, interesting.
And she was probably like 19, 20 years old at the time. I hope.
One hopes, yes.
Whoa, okay. Woo. That's
Yeah.
It's not okay, but yeah.
No, I don't know what to. I think going forward, I'm probably just going to ignore anything anybody who works in that industry says ever about anything. Even if they're dead on balls accurate, even if they're right as hell, to a point, man. So you remember back in the 90s, right? We had all these big movie stars and they were running around doing their movie star thing, right? But nobody actually knew what their fucking opinions were, or even if they had two functioning brain cells, because they didn't have access to social media then. And now all we hear is their fucking opinions, right? I have social media. You know how many people listen to my opinions? Zilch, nada. And it's probably better that way because some of my opinions are pretty fucked.
I mean, for the longest time, the voice of nightly news, the Walter Cronkite, the voice everybody trusted with their nightly news, was a raging communist globalist. No one knew.
Yeah. So I mean,
I didn't know that until just now either.
What?
Oh yeah.
That makes two.
Yeah, it's so I'm done. I'm done with that. I'm probably done watching all of their new shit. I'm done reading most new books because I can't seem to come across anything that doesn't go woke about 2/3 of the fucking way through it, which is annoying. I started reading The Expanse, right, on Gary Beekler's recommendation, before he changed his mind about that. And I am halfway through the third book and I just can't fucking do it. It's like the first book was excellent. The second book was pretty good. Third book is not great. And it really leans into some stuff that I really don't care about. I had this, I like, as you can all see by my, my lovely complexion here. I like cosmic horror. I like stuff like that. I like Lovecraft. I like things that play with Lovecraft. I like other authors who branched off and done their own stuff with Lovecraft.
I would have never guessed that.
Yeah,
me too.
I started reading this book a couple years ago called Meddling Kids, which is sort of a riff on Scooby-Doo.
Right.
if they encounter something from the Lovecraft mythos.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
It does sound awesome, but as it turns out, not so much.
Why?
The alpha male of the group, the Fred of the group, if you will, they all have different names. They're not actually the Scooby Gang, but there are a bunch of ridiculous references. Like they're at a place called the Zoinks River Valley. It's. I mean, there's some fun stuff like that in there. There is, but the one who was basically Velma is, a butch dyke who broke her way out of prison.
Oh, fun.
With military training.
Of course.
The one who's basically Daphne is an airhead and a scientist at the same time somehow, and also the object of Velma's affections.
That woman.
The one who's basically Shaggy is this skinny little twerp who's been committed because he has seen things beyond the ken of mortal man, and he's completely unreliable, and he spends most of his time having arguments with the fourth member of the group, the Fred, except that Fred killed himself because he went to Hollywood and became an actor and overdosed on something. So the Fred he's talking to is either a real ghost or it's in his head only, and is otherwise makes him a fairly useless fucking character, And I mean, the dog's in it.
Wait, why isn't he talking to the dog? I would make Fred a character and then
the dog's
add
just a dog.
No, but if Shaggy's crazy, then even if the dog is just a dog, he's talking to the dog. In his mind, the dog is talking back.
Yeah. So it's not great. So and then it just, the further into it I get, the worse that gets. And I know I've only got like I'm probably greater than 3/4 of the way through the book, and I just can't bring myself to finish it, which sucks because I hate not finishing books. But
Sam, I bet you, since you have bought this book and have read this book, for the one of you, there's a bunch of the virtue signaling, blue-haired land whale scissoring hens who will champion this book, but will never buy the damn thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's common knowledge that people who put glowing praises on books generally don't read them. They get paid to say those things.
Correct.
But that's been the case in publishing for 100 years or more. Yeah.
And TV shows.
But you're probably right. Most people who bought it probably didn't read it. I bought it and tried to read it, and I can't fucking finish it because it started out strong and then it just gets worse as it goes along, like progressively. And I'm done. I can't do it anymore. I do love me some Calvin and Hobbes.
Oh yes.
Yeah. I do love the Calvin and Hobbes. I actually have all of the big collections. Been reading. I miss Bill Watterson, man. I do.
The book, they made a TV series about it. I haven't seen the series. The Passage, I think it's called. It's about vampires.
Never heard of it.
It was written a while back. Really good. When I started reading it, it was like the second or the third book hadn't come out yet. I need to go back and read that. Jurassic Park, I've read twice. The Andromeda Strain, I've read.
Really?
You're a Crichton fan?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've read most of Crichton's work, actually. He's a good author. You got to have a taste for science to get into his stuff because he goes really hard on the science part of science fiction.
In fact, the first time I read Andromeda Strain, I thought it was... Yeah, I was like, that's one of the reasons why I loved him, the fact that he was a doctor. In fact, the first time I read the Andromeda Strain, I'm like looking it up. I'm like, is this really fiction? Because this reads like nonfiction. And the same with Jurassic Park, even though that one is definitely not true. He's like, it starts with like just an intro, it's like the InGen incident and all. And it's like,
right. But when you get into the science in the novel Jurassic Park, when he starts going into the realities of recombinant DNA, like the guy knows his shit.
Oh yeah, because he was a medical doctor.
Yeah.
But does he have a beard?
He's dead.
I mean, yeah, not anymore. I guess.
First of all,
So, were you at all Kat? You read the book, so were you at all disappointed when Wayne Knight gets eaten by the Dilophosaur in Jurassic Park? Right, in a difference between that and the one that was in the book.
Wait, Knight. What do you mean Knight? Which character?
Wayne Knight, the chubby dude who stole the stuff.
Oh, what's his name? Dennis Edry.
Yeah. So he gets eaten by a Dilophosaurus, right?
Yeah.
So in the book, that Dilophosaurus is 10 fucking feet tall.
I don't remember. It's been a while since I read the books. I just love the fact that John Hammond dies, and the way he dies is just so he falls, breaks his ankle, and gets eaten by the Procopsognathus, the little teeny dinosaur.
Oh yeah.
And actually, one of the things that people don't know is Ian Malcolm dies. They never flat out say it. They're like, one of them asks, how's Malcolm? And the other just shakes his head. And later, so they don't directly flat out say he died. So in the second book, it starts out with a speech by Ian Malcolm. And he's like, my death was like that quote about, and it's like, no, he didn't die.
Yeah.
Reports of my death are greatly exaggerated.
Yes, that's what he says.
Yeah, good stuff. I actually really like Crichton's work quite a bit. He also wrote a historical fiction novel called Eaters of the Dead, which became a pretty damn good movie. Yeah, Carrie.
Yeah, I read that too.
Eaters of the Dead, excuse me.
That was good too.
Yeah, I read that one.
Yeah, good book. Good book. And actually, that was one of my first. I read that when I was little. Like I was probably 8-9 years old when I first read that, and it was probably my first real experience with anything Muslim, because I didn't know too much or anything Arab rather, because I grew up in an area where there weren't any, and it was something I had never come across. So that's also why I know that, or how I found out rather, that Arabs don't drink generally.
Yeah,
or Muslim Arabs don't anyway.
What drink? What?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
We don't partake in the boozes.
Jameson. I don't have any Jameson with me, but I do have some Johnny Walker Black Label.
Ooh.
I'd rather blue, but it's pretty fucking hard to get in Wyoming. So,
don't you know that's what the internet is for?
Yeah, but it's not the same as going into a store, man. I prefer to buy things off a shelf.
Happy holidays, guys.
Good.
Thank
God. More people need to do that. You know what I find hilarious is they keep complaining about obesity in America. And then what do? If they even get something from the actual store, they sit in their car and have it delivered to them. Like, you know what? You want to lose weight? Get up off your butt, walk into the store, browse a little, look around, support the retail people. Then go to the register.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. We carried that.
And that's not even the thing for me though, is not so much the obesity, because I mean, fuck it, we're American, but it's the fact that we are losing a part of our soul as a nation, sitting on our asses, ordering everything online.
Yes.
We do everything online now. We don't interact with other human beings. One of the primary places to meet people was the grocery store, was the produce line.
The bars.
Going out to the bars. I mean, people still do that, but they're doing it less than they did. And we are losing part
people
of what
are highly
makes us
overrated.
American. Yeah.
Well, the same also with kids. I started reading. I haven't finished it yet, but that book that here I'm going to show a banned book that will get me. I just started reading this, and she brings, the beginning is really the part I've read so far. She brings up a valid point. She's like, kids, when I was a kid, we would go home, we would, play outside. We would, we had neighbors around us, kids to play with. We, playground, what we do on the playground, we played with other kids. She brings up the point that most of these kids now go home, sit in front of their computer. Their closest friends, if they have any, are on the internet. The only way to get any notice and recognition is to do something crazy and far-fetched on the internet. They're not socially engaged. They are lonely as hell. And that's why the moment any cool trend comes across on the internet, like, well, the topic of this book, they're going to jump on it, because then they'll get thousands of likes and they can get noticed by people and they'll have friends. It's like, but it's not the same. The interactions on the internet are not the same. When they shut everything down and I got a essential job. So when I got furloughed from my present job, the essential job I got was stocking shelves overnight. Nobody spoke to anybody. Nobody, I mean, it was unbearable. Everyone just completely in their own world. and then I would go home exhausted from working the night and sleep. And I'm not the most social person, but even I was really, really depressed until I went back to my job where, yeah, we work hard, but we interact with each other. We joke around with each other. They're not my best friends, but they're good people. And
well, they don't have to be. Humans are tribal. They're pack animals. They require social interaction, much in the same way that rats do.
Which, that's why, can you think about it? What these kids, the lives of these kids are horrible. It's like, that's why I think, yeah, knock them off the internet, have them go to school in person, none of this online stuff, none of it.
Right.
And have throw them outside to play outside. I mean, even when we had video, I mean, I think we had like maybe 5 games on the SNES because we never played video games. We never watched television. We interacted with people. And you know what? Bring back religion. Go back to church, mosques more. I mean, just those. When I read that section of the book, I'm like, my God, these kids have horrible lives. This is horrible to imagine what these parents are doing to these kids. And the parents aren't doing anything because they're too lazy to actually parent.
Yeah. But before we go too far down the black pill rabbit hole on this, we will probably be ending the stream about here. I know I've got some things I got to get to soon. I know JV's got some cooking to do, and all that. But we do appreciate each and every one of you joining us for this time. Merry Christmas if that's your thing. If it's not, thanks for hanging out.
Merry Christmas.
Apparently, that's
Buster.
I got Buster to give you all a Merry Christmas.
It's a cat ass trophy. It's a cat ass trophy.
Buster, come on, Buster. Show your face. Come over here. Come on.
It's a catastrophe.
Ooh, kitty.
That's
Come here. Come here. There we go.
Oh, do you guys ever read the Xanth novels? They're all about puns. There's a thing in, I think, the 5th book that is about a cat ass trophy, and it's like a cat's butt on a plaque on a wall. Anyway.
No, we don't. No.
We don't want to know.
There we go.
I don't know.
So Buster's wishing you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy Hanukkah.
So again, thank you all for joining us. Anybody want to plug anything before we get going?
I will probably be live streaming tomorrow playing Warframe because I promised Mugsikins I would play Warframe and I didn't play much today because of work. And me and Shadow will probably have Merry Madness on Thursday unless my hours go absolutely insane, which I can't guarantee they won't since we're getting close to the New Year's. When your cat shows you its ass, it means it trusts you. Yeah, that's true. That's actually true. The reason why your cat sits with their butt to you means that the threat is coming from behind. So if they're looking at you, it means they expect threat from you. Wherever they put their back towards is where they don't expect the threat to coming from.
Yep. So, JB.
I will be dropping a video on the Monday, basically telling all of you people who are asking for James Guns' head to calm the fuck down. I will also, next week is also my 1 year anniversary on YouTube. So I will be doing a little something, giving you all a thanks.
Congratulations.
Because really, I think all of us will agree we don't exist without you guys. So
absolutely. Thug McCoy.
I want to plug Caucasian Sasquatch. Yeah. Oh, hey. Fighting words. You know what? On second thought, fuck you, Squatch.
Hey, he's got the hottest, sexiest voice on the internet.
Let's make fighting. Let's fight.
Damn it. That reminds me. So he does this thing. He's got one of his subscribers is somebody whose name is Wolfie. And he does this thing with, how he keeps saying he's got the sexiest voice on the internet. When he says Wolfie's name, it's like orgasmic. And I'm like, we're gonna get Squatch on here so that he can say that to you because I want to see you swoon.
Hey, his voice is just, like I said, the hottest, smoothest voice on the internet.
Yeah. So, all right. That said, Larry and I will be back with another Abyssal Musings on Thursday. And I am going to get around to doing some more gaming streaming. I haven't been for a little while. It's been a kind of a weird week, but and it'll be Evil West. And again, that's on Kat's recommendation.
Hey, it's a cool game, and it's full of toxic masculinity, which is awesome.
If it ends up going bad, we know who to blame. I'm just kidding. But that's
no, if it goes bad, it just means that you have bad taste because the game is awesome.
That said, we're going to get out of here, but instead of using my usual thing that I say before we leave, I'll leave you with the quote instead from Percy Bysshe Shelley. History is a cyclic poem written by time upon the memories of man. Happy holidays, everybody.
Toodles!